Hello and welcome to the 2026 Open Day Countdown, a series where we're counting down to opening day by previewing all three teams in MLB. Yesterday we spoke about the Houston Astros, and today we'll be talking about the Detroit Tigers. Last year, the Tigers finished with records 87-75, second place in AL Central. They made it to the playoffs as a wildcard team. They won the wildcard series against the Cleveland Guardians in 3 games, but they lost in the ALDS to the Mariners in 5 games. They're a team who were very good in the first half, but they sort of fell apart a little bit in the second half, so so it's yet to be seen like which version of Tigers we'll see this year. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the Tigers had a pretty solid offense in the first half, but it sort of like fell apart in the second half. But like a few guys, they had Winslow Perez, Dylan Dingler, and Zach McKinstry. There was 3 guys who sort of overperformed the peripherals, and that's sort of why they like fell off a little bit. Because if you look at their second half numbers, it wasn't as good compared to the first half numbers for them. And by BPO plus, all 3 are below average. But on the other hand, they do like some guys who underperformed, like Matt Vierling, only 100 player appearances, but 76 WRC plus, 114 BFIP plus. Then also David Torres, Spencer Torkelson, guys who are like 110 to 120 WRC plus, but BFIP plus 120 to 130. Yeah, still have a pretty good offense. Like Shamai Jones, small sample, but he was a very good hitter. Like if you look at the splits, like he did do well against righties, but he didn't play that much against righties. So he's really more of like a short side platoon hitter. Because you get like against lefties, like 122 player appearances, like a little bit of small sample, like he matched against them, 165 WC plus, 154 BFA plus. So last year he was sort of using that short side platoon role, and I think this year he'll uh continue to be in that role and probably platoon with Terry Carpenter, who last year not great against lefties, 71 WC plus, 76 BFA plus, but against righties, you can see he's a lot better, above average hitter. So yeah, it's a good offense. Like Torres and Torkelson are 2 good bats. Riley Green, he strikes out a ton and doesn't really walk that much, but when he hits the ball, he hits it hard. So that's why he's projected for a good BFA plus. But he's another guy who like overperformed, his BFA plus according to WC plus, and that maybe that means he falls off a bit, but we'll see. But yeah, it's like pretty solid offense. Like a lot of guys projected to be above average. A lot of guys who are projected to be like not quite above average, but at least close to above average. But the only issue is that there's like a couple holes in the lineup, even with all those guys. We'll get into that into the pretty good lineups. But first, let's get into the pitching staff. So Eric Sewell at the top, like, doesn't really need an introduction. Like, last 2 times Cy Young winner, and he's obviously projected to be one of the best starters this year again. 221 ERA, 258 BFIP. Like, yeah, it's gonna be take a lot for him to fall off, and honestly, I don't really think he will. Yeah, he's definitely the ace of that rotation. They added Framber Valdez, who's very good, number 2, 366 ERA, 364 BFIP. The only issue I have with Framber is that he's a bit of a ground ball pitcher, and like you can see, like not many strikeouts. Like the strikeouts are still fine, but it's not crazy. But he does like give up a ton of ground balls, and the infield defense for the Tigers is not particularly great. We'll get into that in the particular times. So because of that, I think Framber maybe performs worse than this, but I still think he's a good starter. Yeah. Jack Flaherty, another average arm. Like he was pretty bad by ERA last year, but all the peripherals say he's at least average to above average, including BFIP. So I think he's a fine number 3. And then Reese Olson out for the year. Jackson Job out for some time. Then also Troy Melton, another arm that I really like in their depth chart. He's a prospect. He's also going to be missing like a good chunk of the year, if not the whole year. So because of that, the rotation is going to be rounded out with Casey Mize and Justin Verlander. Casey Mize was solid last year. Like I think he was an All-Star. Let me double check. Yeah, he was an All-Star last year, but I don't think he's an All-Star again this year. Like he's just an average arm, but he's going to be their 4th starter, so I don't mind that. And then they brought back Justin Verlander, 1-year deal. He's another guy with like high 3s ERA, but like average BFIP. So yeah, like 2 average starters like rounded to rotation. It's not like you can live with that, especially like with guys coming back. Like let's say when Reese Olson comes back or Jackson Joe comes back, those are 2 arms who project to be contributors as well. So yeah, onto the bullpen. Actually, hold on. Let me do 7 because Tyler Holton, he's more of a reliever. You know, he made 6 starts. I really like him as a local reliever. He pitches a ton of innings. He wasn't as great last year. He was better a couple years before, but he was still a above average pitcher. 3.66 ERA, 3.82 BFIP. He's sort of a not a high leverage guy. They have some good high leverage arms. Will Vest, Cal Finnegan, Kelly Jansen, all three of those guys had 20 plus saves last year, which is kind of crazy. I believe it's the first time that a team has had 3 20 plus save players in one roster on opening day. So there is a bit of a battle as to like who could be the closer, but I think it's going to be Jansen. And I believe it's been announced that Jansen will be the closer. And like Jansen, he's bordering on 500 career saves. Like he's probably going to get that if the Tigers are competitive. 259 ERA last year. BFIP around average. Like Finnegan and Vest were better, but they've had more experience outside of a closing role, while Jansen has been a closer like pretty much his entire career. And there's something to be said about like closers who haven't like pitched outside of the knife that much. Like a lot of them tend to have worse numbers when they're not pitching in a safe situation. So like for example, like Kenny Jansen, he could be a guy who ends up like that. So that's why I'd rather have him as a closer. And Al Finnegan was electric for the Tigers down the stretch. He had a 150 ERA in 18 innings for them. So yeah, he's probably going to pitch better than this. Like I think it's possible like he has like a 2's ERA, to be honest. And Will Vest, another guy, 301 ERA, 274 beef, another like sub 3 ERA guy in the back end of that bullpen. That's nice to have. And then round out with Brent Herter. Bailey Horn, I believe, is hurt. Yeah, he got elbow surgery, so not sure when he'll be back. And Brendan Hanfee, he's a solid arm. Troy Melton, again, like I really like him. The BFIP wasn't that great in the big leagues last year, but AAA was a lot better. And 2.76 ERA, I guess, still solid, even though like he's probably pitching closer to these. He's gonna be missing to start of the year, and he was recently added to the 60 AL, so he's gonna miss a good chunk of time. I wish obviously I wish he would pitch, he would be healthy, but he isn't. So it is what it is. So yeah, that's what I have for the bullpen. Onto the pitcher lineups. At catcher, Dylan Dingler every day. He's the better bat. Dylan Dingler and Jake Rogers are like similar offensively last year by BFIP plus, but WC plus like Dingler was much better. I believe Dingler was also better defensively, so that's why I want. Also, like Dingler was like the primary catcher you can see based on playing time. So yeah, just going with Dingler again. But Rogers obviously will get his starts. In the infield, focusing at first base, Gaber at second. Again, like these are two guys who sort of underperformed by their BFIP plus. So I think they can like bounce back a little bit. Gleyber Torres, I believe he accepted the qualifying offer, if I'm not mistaken. So he's back for another year, and the Tigers will like to have his bat in that lineup. But the thing is that even though the bat is good, the defense isn't too great. Like Torkelson isn't the best defender at first base. Gleyber isn't a good defender at second. Keith is not that great at third. He profiles more like first base or second base, but those spots are occupied by Torres and Torkelson. So because of that, he's forced to play third, and he's not the best defender there. And at shortstop, I put in Kevin McGonigal. Like he only played above double A. He hasn't played above double A. Like, but his double A numbers were excellent. 254, 369, 550 slash, a 162 WRC plus. And across all three levels, like single A, high A, double A, he posted 182 WRC plus. And so far this spring, he's also been on fire. So I think McGonigal should get an opportunity on a big league club. But the issue with McGonigal is like he's also a guy who probably isn't a long term shortstop. Like his defensive numbers aren't the best at short, but they're not terrible. They're sort of like below average. Like think like -2, -3 runs, like 2 to 3 runs below average around. I'd say. So yeah, it's a pretty rough infield defense. That's why I think Framber maybe falls off, but Veiling is so solid. Like against lefties, he was pretty good last year. 109 Dorsey plus, but 145 BFIP plus. Small sample, but like he was hurt, and against righties, like not that great. Like maybe he could play every day, but you have a ton of infielders already, like Torres, Keefe, Ferguson. You could argue McKinsey as well. So like, there's only that much space for him in the, as like an everyday guy. So he's probably going to be in that short side platoon role with Keefe, who, again, also Keefe like very bad against lefties. So that's why I have him in a platoon. In the outfield, I have Riley Green in left, Javi Baez at center, and then right field platoon is Zach McKinstry and Juan Perez. So the issue with this is that I believe Fangraphs has Parker Meadows as at the very least like a platoon in center field. But the thing with Parker Meadows, like his offensive numbers are fine. Like they're not great, obviously, but they're better than Javi Baez. But I feel like Javi Baez's defense is better, and also the thing with Meadows is that offensively he's good, but like he's not better than McKinstry, he's not better than Perez, he's not better than Green. And because Baez has to be on the roster, you can't. It's really tough to like roster, 5 outfielders. Like you could obviously, but then that you have to like maybe take away Jamai Jones or force Kerry Carpenter to play the outfield, which is also like not too ideal. That's why I have like Parker Meadows like not on this roster. I have him basically option to AAA. And like, but if he like hits well, then I think he definitely there's a shot like up top in the big league club. Yeah. Javi Baez, everyday center fielder, good defense, not the best bet. Left field, Riley Green, like pretty good offensively and solid defensively as well. Then platoon in right field, Zach McKinstry and Jose Perez. Just righties, McKinstry had a 96 BFIP plus, which isn't the best. Like it's still slightly below average, but like they don't have like too many guys who are above average, so that's why McKinstry, like, even though he wasn't the best, like he's still like better than a lot of the other options. And then Winslow Perez, he was very good against lefties. 119 BFIP plus, 132 WRC plus. I think I'd rather have him. It's basically between Perez and Meadows on the roster in terms for the outfield, and I think you can make an argument for Meadows because he's a center fielder, and Winslow Perez profiles more as like a corner outfielder, I'd say, although he can't play center field. But because Perez, he's a better bet, especially against lefties. That's why I have him on the roster. And at DH, the two of Kerry Carpenter and Jamai Jones. Again, Kerry Carpenter, good hitter against righties. Jamai Jones, very good hitter against lefties. So that's what I have there. As for the pitching staff, Skubal, Framber, Flaherty, Mize, Verlander. No surprises there. I do have Drew Anderson as sort of like long relief. Like he was signed to be a starter ideally, but there's no like any space for him in the rotation. So, but unless like if someone gets hurt, then Anderson can pretty easily slot in. So I have him essentially as like a long reliever. But last year, especially last year, but last couple years in the KBO, he was pretty excellent. In 2024, 115 innings, 3.89 ERA. But last year in 2025, 171 and 2/3 innings, a 225 ERA and a 262 FIP. It was basically, I know Cody Ponce has like gotten buzz as like the best starter after KBO from this offseason, but Drew Anderson is pretty close second. The only issue with Anderson, of course, is like he doesn't really have a role in the starting rotation, but I do think he'll eventually get some starts and get some innings sooner rather than later, especially like if, let's say, Flaherty, Mize, Verlander, like one of those 3 guys gets hurt, then Anderson can easily slot in. In the closer role, I have Kenley Jansen, but it could easily be Vester Finnegan. Like I think obviously like Kenley Jansen, like he's the guy who's scoring on 500 saves. Like you want him to get that record, so obviously like he's gonna start the as a closer. But like if he scuffles, I wouldn't be surprised if Vest or Finnegan steps in pretty quickly. And then Brent Herter, Holton, Hannafy, Breesky. 4 solid arms in that bullpen. Like Herter above average arm, like a ton of walks, but doesn't give up many barrels at all. 243 ERA, 342 BFIP. Very solid arm. Hanafi pretty much average, even though he had a 3 ERA last year. Like doesn't really strike out that many guys. That's why he's a little bit worse by the be fit, but he's still an average arm. And then Brisky, not the highest on him, so that's why he's like a bit more of like lower leverage guy in the bullpen. So yeah, that's what I have for the predicted lineups. Onto the win projection. You have a lot of guys projected to have a lot of wins, like Scooble, obviously like one of the best starters in baseball, projected for 5 wins. Green, like he was very good the past couple years, projected for 4 wins. And then Gleyber, very good year last year, like projected for essentially repeated that with 3 wins. And then Framber is good, Torkelson, Kerry Carpenter, like they have some very good talent on the roster. So they're projected actually for 88 wins, which would actually be the 3rd best record in the AL. So they're projected to win the division. I know the Guardians, like they won a division last year, but because the Guardians have sort of like lost a lot of talent in the offseason, and also like a lot of guys were sort of on career years, it's sort of hard to project them as getting close to that again. So the Tigers, like pretty much, honestly, like I would probably take the over on this one projection for the Guardians, but I really don't see them repeating as division champions. So I sort of like I'd rather have the Tigers in that role, but like obviously like Royals they made a ton of additions to offseason, so they're like the closest to beating the Tigers. Like I made the preview on them already, so if you want to like hear about them, they can watch that. Yeah, Tigers like projected to win the division for me. Like they have a very good rotation, like very good depth in the rotation as well. Very good offense, though. You sort of like it's not the best defense, so that's sort of the crutch. And also like the offense, like maybe it's good, but it's good enough to win the Central, but not good enough to be the best in MLB. So that's why like if you look at all 3 divisions, like Yankees are better than them, Seattle's better than them. Even by if you look at WAR, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox are also better than the Tigers, but because the Tigers play in a weaker division, that's why they're projected for more wins than the Blue Jays and the Red Sox. So yeah, that's what I have for the Tigers. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.